Model creation, day 5, rim creation part 2. Alright, just splitting up the video, make it more digestible. Alright, so we created this shape, and then, like I said, having a 3/4 view really helps. And as you can see, that where the rim enters in is very flat. Very flat in this area right here. And then the actual shape itself comes down right there. So let's go ahead and take care of that. So right now my piece is actually flaring up, it's popping out. So I'm going to take every other vert here, push it down. Not every other, I'm sorry, just grab these verts, selection of verts that I think they need to flatten down. And I'm just going to snap. This actually goes down too. I'm actually going to snap to this vert here. So I'm going to take everything that we got and constrain it in the x-axis and snap to vert. Now this is more what we're looking at here. Flat. Where this piece comes in and starts to round out that part of the rim. Then on this side we actually have another edge to come down to. So why don't we go ahead and add that and bring up my reference. Go back to X-ray. So I can see, not so much in this particular reference here, but the edge goes straight down just based off the camera. And we're not going to go into here, maybe a little bit. Not really. Go down a little bit, and actually, yeah, we do need to go down. Create some depth. So then I'll hide my reference again. I use just what I'm working with here. I only want to go down so far. I don't know how far yet. I'm just going to push this, see what we get. I know on this side it needs to come up. Let's constrain it. That's about right. And on this side it needs to move back a little bit. Just for the rim itself. So now that if I hit 3 mode, I start to get that V-spoke look. It's getting closer. That's what I was looking at. Good. Go back to here. Wireframe unshaded. Because we want this to be a circle and we want to be able to control this, I'm going to have to make quads all the way around. Just like we do when we create the some of these other edges here. Delete edge here. Controlling that surface flow, this will go around like that. Just missing this piece here. Pull this back a little bit. Or I can combine this. I can get rid of that, that's fine. Go into insert edge loop. I'm going to go ahead and create a nice edge around this, and then merge these two and get rid of these. So because what we're doing is we're making a nice little lip around there. Go into 3 mode, turn off X. See how that's starting to work. Okay, so I'm about to duplicate this 5 times to make my full rim, and then work with it and just to line everything up. Back to our side view. So it's like no geometry on there. There we go. Okay, back to wireframe. Alright, so I gotta find a center of this. A lot of times when you're building these things out, you're gonna have a center reference here. So you can bring this edge down because I can tell it's going in. Notice that when I snap in and I go really far into the camera, it disappears like that. There's a way to correct that. I'll show you guys how to do that. Let's go ahead and bring this in. Alright, cool. So you're going to go to your camera, say View, select Camera, or just hit this little thing right here. It says Select Camera. I'm going to hit the Attribute Editor, Control A, and you're going to go to Near Clipping Plane, and you're going to add 2 zeros after the decimal. And now when I go through, it doesn't fall apart. It's called a Near Clipping Plane. That's how you're going to correct that, because that bothers me. Go back to my side view. Oops. I gotta grab these edges underneath here. Let's pull this out. Go back to my side view. And go here. And pull this out maybe to about right there. I'm gonna pick walk up. Over, I mean. Can't see the other point. There we go, right there. Let's just bring this one out. This should be about the halfway point, and we can correct that if it isn't. I'm going to go ahead and save, since I don't want to lose this work. Remember, save often. There we go. Alright. Here we go down here. I'm going to set this up to make start working with this rim as a whole. So I'm going to move my pivot to somewhere down here. Ideally, you want to create have a rim that's already going to be set up where you're involving yourself in the middle. Sometimes that doesn't always happen. In this particular case, the way I set it up. If you're more productive on your on the path, the Illustrator path that you create, then it's a lot easier. So I'm just going to test this out, and then we're going to refine it. So I'm going to go back to Duplicate Special, say very important at this part, I'm going to reset the settings. I always do, because I want to clear it out so I don't have these other values in there that create mistakes. So always say Instance, and we're going to rotate this 72 degrees in X, because we're going to rotate around the X-axis. 72 is 360 degrees divided by 5. You take that number divided by the spokes, the amount of spokes you have, and we get 72. I need 4 other instances of this, and your scale values are all 1. You duplicate that. That's correct, but I forgot to combine these, so let's do that again. Combine. If everything's okay with that, we feel good, we can just do that, and I'm going to merge them. Okay, so I've merged these, and I'm using my hotkey, or excuse me, custom marking menu for that. And then I'm actually going to go back to find the center of this. I'm using the BMW. Oops. And now we go back to doing this. The hotkey for this is Control-Shift-D. So as you can see now, I go back into perspective view and take all of this away. In my channel box, you can see how we got this set up now. And now we can work with this as one. I'm just going to work on developing the middle shapes of this. I'm going to refer back to my reference, outside reference, 3/4 reference that I have here. I want to know what's going on in these between areas right here. I have a little hole right there. So I got to sort of make up for that shape. And when I have my reference turned on, I can grab this side. I can grab both sides of these and snap them together like that. Now you guys are going to try that and realize that you have problems with that. And so to do that, you need to select both objects. I have both objects selected, and then I'm going to go to component mode. Now if I am over that particular object and I go to component mode, it'll go to vertices here, but this is still in object mode, so we got to go to both vertices there. And then now they're both in component mode. I hold shift, I grab one, grab the other. But notice I did a huge window around all of this, right? Only this one selects. So you have to do it that way. Now if you want them all to be selectable the way I did it, then select them both and then hit F8 to toggle this. And I don't know why it does that. Now everything in the scene is now in component mode. Now I can select them both. And then I'm just going to go up on my marking menu and just left click merge to center. Oops. And now all the way around they've all merged. So I'm only working on particular sections at a time. So let's bring back our reference layer. Let's look at what we have. So I'm going to start collect this, and then let's just bit off the middle here. Back in the side view. I actually want this one to come together too. Good. Get a nice shape. And just let's extrude the edge of this. So I'm going to come in the middle. I'm going to have to move this down because there we go. Whoa. Hit F8. I'm just going to snap these together. And can I get all that? What are we going to do? There we go. Alright, so now I found the middle of this object here, and because I have this shape in here, I'm going to make these the actual lugs. If you look at our spoke, which will still take some refinement, come out of this. Oops. Start to make the beginning of this, go to 3 mode. It's a good start, and it's looking quite nice. Alright, so with this one, very quickly, how to make the lug. And blow out the back. Extrude face. I grabbed too many faces. Extrude face on this. Bring that in. Hit G since I've already set up that command. I'm just going to push this back. I'm going to go to my Insert Edge Loop tool. And then quickly snap these edges. Poke the face. And I don't want this to fall apart too much. Double click on this. Sort of round it out. Now we go to 3 mode. We got a nice cylinder. And because of that, and then if I go to 3 on here, it holds together very nicely. It looks like the lug is sitting in there. Just bring this right here to the center. I'm going to go ahead and I have everything set up. Hit duplicate special. Everything falls right into place. Quickly, I'm going to go ahead and connect this shape here. I'm going to bring back my reference. And then we can start to go into our final section of this video. One thing I'm concerned about, there we go. Side view. And I'm actually going to extrude edges on both sides because it's actually looks like that's what it's asking for. Oops, let's get out of one mode. As modelers, don't think everything's final. Like, oh, I messed that up. I can't redo it. To me, everything can always be pushed back, just depending on your particular workflow. How well did you model this? If it's very sloppy, yeah, then it's really hard to go back. And at some point, a reference is just a reference. I won't need it that much. Alright, now that we have this particular shape, and this is looking correct, but this should go down that far. Alright. Turn off the reference here. Let's grab everything, go into 3 mode. Let's look at what we got. Okay, so this shape is okay. How far it goes in should be flatter. Oh, this should be flatter, so it should come up. And this bottom shape is okay. We'll work on that. The one thing I want to talk about is like developing these hard edges here. Definitely get that in. So I'll work with this, work with this. You'll notice what happens if you start breaking up your or taking your pieces too soon. Okay, that's starting to work. And once I pull this all together, then I'm going to go ahead and make a I'm going to push this in. Most rims, I think Hybrid X6, Hybrid, some of those rims that they're doing, they're a little bit different, but they go inwards. think there's 12. Let's poke the face. Actually, it's not. Let's extrude it. Yeah, your rim will actually probably go in like this. You know, some people's rims come out a little bit like that, but you know, they don't want you to have this James Bond style car ripping up other tires on the road. So most rims go in like this. So I'm just going to use, after I would get everything together, I'm going to use a lattice and push that in. I'm actually going to use this to make my tire. There we go, go to 3 mode. It's good when you have a center point because then you can base all your scaling and your reference based on that. This is just the beginning for me. I just wanted to get this in here, block it in. Oops. Okay, that's roughly a tire, and it's a huge tread on there. It's a sporty car. It's a 5 Series. You're not really going to have that much and it's a 19-inch rim, so it's not going to have that much rubber on there. Alright, so I'm going to skip ahead. I'm just going to finalize this. 23.